Tansin utute magtiar wheatly nisigasun o pasqueakuche. Tawao, welcome to APTN National News. Cooler weather in British Columbia has given the advantage to wildfire crews. However, there are still 142 burning across the province. The province continues to issue air quality warnings and evacuation alerts with 13 full evacuation orders throughout South Central BC. 58 of these fires are listed as out of control according to the BC Wildfire Service website. However, they are also calling for rain in some areas and cooler temperatures that could help get the upper hand in battling the blazes. Air quality warnings have been lifted in many areas over the last few days. The Mine Creek fire that completely shut down the Coquihalla Highway is still rated as out of control due to steep terrain and dry conditions.
But we should expect to see wildfire smoke come south in the days ahead. Weather forecasters are saying that the smoke is going to be a major factor in the next 24 to 72 hours. There are already reports of smoke hitting communities. We do expect more smoke to arrive in the central and southern interior tonight or tomorrow and reach Abbotsford and the coast by Friday. The BC Wildfire Service has been responding vigorously to wildfires throughout the province, putting out over 100 fires in the past week.
The Yukon RCMP says it's continuing an investigation into a missing First Nations man. Fox Elric, who is also known as Keith Atlin, was last seen in Whitehorse's Riverdale neighborhood on July 18th. He was last spotted wearing a black hoodie and a black hat. Elric is described as 30 years old with short, shaved black hair and a black mustache. He is approximately 5 foot 10 inches tall and 210 pounds. He may be wearing headphones and prescription glasses. Police say Fox Elric remains missing despite following up on numerous leads. Anyone who may have information on Elric's whereabouts is encouraged to contact their local police or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. The Mi'kmaq of Gaspé-Guwagi announced a major wind energy development partnership with Allianz de l'Est and Hydro-Quebec. As Kim Sullivan reports, despite the region being familiar with wind energy projects, this partnership is a game changer.
This unprecedented partnership aims to assess the potential for wind power development on the traditional territory of the Gaspé, Giskapigiyag, and Listigish, which are the shareholders of the MMBC, Mi'kmaq Mawiomi Business Corporation. MMBC CEO Fred Vicaire says that this is not the first wind energy project in the Gaspé Peninsula and eastern Bas-Saint-Laurent of Quebec, but that this one is certainly different.
This is huge, though. This is another scheme. It's 6,000 megawatts of different projects that will get created. That's the misconception. A lot of people think it's one big project. It's not. It will be a variety of different projects that will be created on the traditional territory. But from the get-go, people will get consulted in our communities to make sure that these projects where we're looking to create them are accepted by community members.
This project is part of the Quebec government and Hydro-Quebec's energy strategy to develop more than 10,000 megawatts of new wind power capacity by 2035. This partnership will generate stable, long-term revenue for the three communities and marks a decisive moment in energy and economic reconciliation.
For the Mi'kmaq of Gaspé-Guwagi, it means taking control of development of wind on their territory. So no longer developers coming in and doing projects and then asking if we want to be partners. We're actually at the forefront and developing projects on our traditional territory from the get-go, right from the beginning.
One thing is certain, the wind is blowing strong on the energy future of the Gaspé-Guwagi. Kim Sullivan, APTN National News, Montreal.
Two inner-city organizations in Winnipeg smudged the streets over the weekend. This is the second year for the parade hosted by Resource Assistance for Youth and the Spence Neighborhood Association. APTN's Julia Ross attended the free event and has more.
Let everybody, breathe it all in, smudge ourselves, and just have a good time. And hopefully everybody gets some blessings from it today.
Community gathered on Saturday, September 6th to smudge the streets in Winnipeg's Spence neighborhood, which encompasses a 25-block area in the inner city.
Always been an opportunity for community to come together, to take care of one another, to offer care to one another, and it seems to happen often at times when there's increased violence in all of our neighborhoods, and so it's a really nice antidote, and it's also a really nice reminder of our connection to one another.
For the second year in a row, the Ray Center, Resource Assistance for Youth, partnered with the Spence Neighborhood Association to organize the parade and gathering.
We live on Indigenous land. The land still supports all of us, supports all of us to come together. And so it's really important for us to learn and remember these practices that are about living in a good way with one another.
Mike Bignell, cultural coordinator for the Ray Center, says Smudge the Streets goes beyond the parade. He says the event allowed community to have the opportunity to gather their own sage and medicines beforehand.
We went medicine picking. We use it as a teaching tool throughout the year as well. We had participants and youth come out to want to go medicine picking, so we decided to use the sage as our story to go and say, okay, let's go get some medicine so we could, bless our community. Because sometimes it'll only take like one little prayer for someone to realize that they're really cared for in the community.
A prayer from a knowledge sharer took place before the parade, with song from the Buffalo Crossing drum group fueling the smudgers as they walked. During the parade, people passing by asked if they could smudge and join in. With the rise of violence, substance use, and difficulties in Manitoba communities, Smudge the Streets hopes to bring a moment of peace to some and to serve as a reminder of community support.
Every community that's going through a difficult time right now, because there's gang violence, there's drug abuse, there's all the abuses that in our communities, sometimes we need to pick up the smudge and to let everybody know it's okay to ask for prayers or to ask for a helping hand.
Once the streets had been smudged, the community celebrated with a feast and round dance at the Merck Center in Winnipeg. Julia Ross, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Hey, Powell Mike, he's also from Opaskwayak. We're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can continue the conversation. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. To read and watch our stories, go to aptnnews.ca. You can find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. And we check in with our colleagues over at NITV, where festivals, Indigenous languages, and controversy around pepper spray are making headlines. When we come back, Cheskwa. Pitigwe. The annual Freedom Day festival celebrating the anniversary of the Wave Hill Walk-Off happened recently in Australia, a turning point of the Indigenous land rights movement as hundreds of people gathered. Here's Emma Calloway from NITV with the details.
Hundreds retracing the steps of the Wave Hill Walk-Off.
Land rights are our rights!
It's a path that led to a turning point in Aboriginal land rights across the nation.
They led the pathway for us, and we want to continue that.
Marching down to the banks of the Victoria River, where in 1966 around 200 Gurindji stockmen and their families made camp after walking off Vesti Station in protest of unfair work conditions. A reminder of life working for limited rations.
Bread and tea, they give you little one that we walk off from Wave Station.
It wasn't until almost a decade later that the Gurindji people were recognised.
These lands belong to the Gurindji people.
The historic moment of soil passing through hands, a symbol of the return of a portion of their homelands.
It's one of those pivotal moments in time that took place 50 years ago, and we still carry on the legacy of, Mr. Lingiari.
Today, culture is strong in the twin communities of Kalkarindji and Dargaragu, but Vincent Lingiari's dream of a thriving local economy is still a work in progress.
We're still struggling, but we're trying to break through those walls. We're trying to make our community viable.
A movement marking history with work still to be done. Emma Calloway, NITV News.
First Nations leaders from across the globe gathered in Darwin, Australia for a cross-cultural exchange of ideas on strengthening Indigenous languages. The event is one of the country's largest Indigenous language and technology conferences. Again, here is Emma Calloway from NITV.
It's my privilege, on behalf of my eldest past and present, to welcome you to Gwawa Daraniki, Alan.
The day kicking off with a display of traditional song and dance, from the Torres Strait to a story of the spirits of the Kuku-Yalanji people from far north Queensland. Those in attendance coming from across Australia and beyond, each holders of their own traditional language and culture, here to celebrate and share their knowledge.
My favourite one is Bayamangu Nginumbala Yita Yita Yita. That means may my ancestors be with you always, always, always.
My mak is good and yo is yes, Kana Mirni is how are you?
Don't palpate, it's good. Come together, work together and share the language.
This year's theme is Echoes of the Past, Voices of the Future. It honours the wisdom passed down through generations while embracing innovations for preserving Indigenous languages that are being lost at an alarming rate globally.
It's your identity, yeah, because language is tied in with a few things like country, law, yeah, storylines, yeah.
If we don't do something really significant soon, we're going to lose a lot of our languages within the next 100 years.
The biennial event has been running since 2007 and explores pioneering ideas, products and equipment that can be used in community-based Indigenous language projects.
It's a chance to learn what is working in different parts of the country for keeping our languages strong.
Over the coming days, participants will engage in sessions designed to empower the celebration of culture and foster long-lasting connections between the diversity of First Nations communities.
Great story. Indigenous languages are so beautiful. Still in Australia, 21 community organisations have signed an open letter urging the Northern Territory government to reconsider the planned sale of pepper spray over concerns it could disproportionately impact First Nations people. And as Emma Calloway shows us, people will soon be able to buy, carry and use pepper spray in self-defence under a year-long government trial.
It's a single-use pepper spray that will soon be in the hands of thousands of Territorians, a move NT government say will create safer communities, but justice advocates believe it'll do the opposite.
Measures like this aren't going to have any impact on that, and it's going to make people feel more unsafe.
Community organisations coming together over concerns the legislation will disproportionately impact First Nations people.
The harm is felt most deeply and most personally by Indigenous families. They're a government who have promised to reduce crime but are doing everything that the experts warn are going to make things worse.
An open letter penned by 21 community organisations says NT government's law and order policies have the consequence of negatively impacting mainly Indigenous families and communities.
We need programs, we need services for these families and these communities. And that's the beginning point.
From Monday, 9 gun dealers across the Territory will be stocked to start over-the-counter sales of OC spray. Buyers will have to show ID and provide a reason for the purchase.
Our government is absolutely committed to creating a safe community environment. This is just one component of that.
But how those outcomes will be measured is yet to be determined.
Those parameters are being developed by police and they'll be revealed as the trial progresses.
Those opposed instead calling for greater investment in crime prevention.
We need to look at what does investment into the root causes of crime, as well as into early intervention and prevention and looking at those alternatives.
Emma Calloway, NITV News.
We now want to tell you about this week's new web poll question. Do you care if Canada meets its 2030 climate target under the Paris Agreement? Your options are yes, no, and unsure. And you can go to our website, aptnnews.ca/poll to cast your ballot. One more break here. When we come back, we tell you about a school in Thunder Bay raising money through the shared love of music. Cheskwa. Starting in the East Coast, Charlottetown 20, Halifax 20. Inukjuak 7, Nain 12. Chibougamau 12, Quebec City 17. North Bay 15, Sarnia 20. Big Trout Lake 9, Kapuskasing 12. Churchill 7, God's Lake 12. Barons River 13, Winnipeg 18. North Battleford 15, Yorkton 13. Uranium City 10, La Ronge 13. Over to the west, Fort Chipewyan 21, Fort McMurray 24. Edmonton 28, Lethbridge 25. Kamloops 28, Campbell River 22. Dease Lake 16, Prince Rupert 15. Rock River 7, Dawson 16. Norman Wells 17, Trout Lake 15. Colville Lake 15, Tuktoyaktuk 7. Cambridge Bay 9, Baker Lake 11. Resolute -1, Iqaluit 7. Organizers of Thunder Bay's Wake the Giant Music Festival are calling this year's event the best one yet. Around 8,500 people attended the event, which serves as a fundraiser and awareness campaign for Dennis Franklin Cromarty High School. The school hosts Indigenous students from across Ontario, many from far north First Nations who have never ventured outside of their community. APTN's Mike McDonald reports.
Let's have some fun today! Wake the Giant! Woo, woo, woo!
The Wake the Giant Music Festival got off to a roaring start with drums and jingle dresses kicking off the event and the school year for students at Dennis Franklin Cromarty High School. Organizers say not only was this the best attended festival, but also the highest participation rate from the artists involved.
Not just like the artists that are up and coming, but also the artists that are established have taken a serious buy-in to the messaging behind the festival and really interacted with the kids throughout the whole process of this, whether it's through workshops or interviews or podcasts and all that stuff. They're doing meet and greets today. They're getting to hang out with them. It's really cool this year.
Blues and country music artist Crystal Shawanda, who's from the Wikwemikong First Nation, was among this year's performers. She says the festival's cause hits home.
It means a lot to be able to play this festival. You know, I relate a lot to these Indigenous students who, who are just leaving home for the first time. When I was 13 years old, I left my family, my community, so that I could go to a school that had better opportunities. And so I know what it's like to be homesick, to be lonely, the culture shock.
The Poets, a tragically hip tribute band from Moose Factory, Ontario, say the festival and the overall message of truth and reconciliation resonates with them.
Well, I think that this festival and the true message of it is bringing together all the peoples in this city and beyond to support these kids at Dennis Franklin Cromarty, because they're scared, they're nervous, they miss home, they're homesick. So we got to hold them and comfort them as the city of Thunder Bay can. And this is our message as well, is that the youth truly are the future leaders of this country.
I've got a bunch of kids that living in a northern community, and they've 3 of them went out for high school as well. So I know how hard that is, right? Like, it's so hard for kids to leave their home and to come to the big city, in a sense, right? It's a struggle.
Introducing the Poets was Jared Visitor, who is representing the Gord Downey and Cheney Wenjack Fund. Cheney Wenjack was Visitor's great uncle.
A lot of time has passed, but I think he still would see the stories that are being told here. And it's the stories that, once you hear a story, that is with you for the rest of your life. So I know that the power of storytelling is something that he started, that we're continuing here today. So I think it'll be a powerful, powerful thing, yeah.
Neon Dreams took their performance into the audience, much to the delight of the fans.
A little sexual frustration, combined with lack of motivation, and a loss of concentration. I thought a strange disease.
Playing into the sunset was 90s band Prozac, performing only their second gig since the COVID-19 pandemic.
Just the whole story behind Wake the Giant, that it's actually like helping Indigenous kids that maybe don't feel like they're fitting into a strange town. We relate to that, like in a way. Just I remember what it felt like when I was like 13, 14. So I can't imagine it'd be a lot harder when you're leaving home. So anything that can make that better and like celebrate everyone getting together, we're all about that. So I want to make it fun and memorable.
The Black Eyed Peas closed out this year's festival and even took time to meet fans. Organizers say planning is already underway for Wake the Giant 2026. Mike McDonald, APTN National News, Thunder Bay.
That Prozac song is going to be stuck in my head all day. The 50th annual Toronto International Film Festival kicked off over the weekend. Movie buffs and TIFF supporters have a huge selection of close to 300 films from all corners of the world to view. Tasha Hubbard's film Meadowlarks premiered on Sunday night. The film is inspired by her own acclaimed 60s scoop documentary Birth of a Family. Meadowlarks stars Alex Rice, Michelle Thrush, Carmen Moore, and Michael Greyeyes. They play 4 Cree siblings who were separated since childhood. Now in their 50s, they meet for the first time over a holiday weekend in Banff. According to Hubbard, it was emotional for the audience.
It was, it was lovely and overwhelming. And I don't know if I've fully processed yet the way in which it is connecting to people, how people are able, even if the child removal system isn't their experience, there's something in the film around our very shared human need to feel that belonging, to feel connected to each other.
And that's your daytime newscast for this Tuesday afternoon. Mino Niso Gisagawanuch. I'm TR Wheatley. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. And please join us again at 6 p.m. Eastern. From all of us at APTN, both in front of the camera and behind the scenes, Egase, Gitam, Guapamitinano.
We have like a 20 to